Welcome back. It's episode 2, day 2. Our first location was to get a class photo. Here's the photo. Looks great. While we were there, we saw some nice duck infrastructure. A duck ramp going over the small barrier into the water, nice and gently. Next, we visited the U.S. Supreme Court building. It is the highest court in the land, very literally speaking, as there is a basketball court apparently at its highest floor. After the visit to the Supreme Court, we went to the Library of Congress. The Library of Congress is where Congress gets information. Here is the Congressional Reading Room in the Library of Congress. It's kinda big. This is the original library that Thomas Jefferson had, and it's kinda big. When the Library of Congress was established, Thomas Jefferson sold his personal library to get the library started. After the Library of Congress, we went to the U.S. Capitol building, and the first thing we did was have lunch. I had a cookie and a sandwich for lunch. After lunch, we were lucky enough to take a look at the meeting place for the House of Representatives. After that, we went through the standard tour for the U.S. Capitol building. We saw the place under the rotunda, and then we saw the original meeting place for the House of Representatives. Just had a great tour. There's a lot of history with this building. I just got this awesome hat. Looks great. After the U.S. Capitol building, we went to the Dwight D. Eisenhower Memorial. Dwight D. Eisenhower was a military commander and the 34th President of the United States. At the memorial, there is his homecoming speech after World War II and a statue of him as a boy, which pays homage to his poor upbringing. At the memorial, there was also some statues of him as a general. He planned the D-Day invasion, which turned the tide of the Second World War. Swiftly after our visit to the Dwight D. Eisenhower Memorial, we went to the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. The Holocaust was another World War II event. I won't be showing any images, but it is hard to hear. Viewer discretion advised. If you want to skip, go to the timestamp on screen. The Holocaust was a time when Nazi Germany heavily persecuted those that they did not see fit. 6 million Jews were persecuted during this time. The Holocaust Museum was designed to somewhat embody the feeling of those Nazi concentration camps. It was creepy. At some point there was a rail car, which I somewhat explicitly stayed away from, since it did not feel right inside that rail car. The elevators were designed as though they were from the camps. The building and its exhibits felt as though the event of the Holocaust had been embodied into the building. The exhibits included information on what Americans knew, and Americans knew that the Holocaust was happening. They just did not know the scale of it. It was atrocious what the Nazis did. The exhibits showed the event in chronological order, including some basic history about World War II, including the general expansion of the Nazi power, as well as how the Nazis came into power and all that basic information. It was only at the end that we finally got positive information, which included the fall of Nazi Germany, as well as what the Allies did to reverse the actions of Nazi Germany, including the Nuremberg trials, as well as just stories of how people survived in hiding and such. The exhibits ended with the entrance into a hall, a hexagonal hall, named the Hall of Remembrance. had the names of most of the major Nazi concentration camps and killing centers, as well as candles. After going through that, there was another exhibit that you could go into. It was a show of the fact that there was genocide happening actively in the world. Burma was persecuting a minority group of Muslims in their area, similar to that of Nazi atrocities. They did similar in Burma. We are never to forget the Holocaust. To prevent it from ever happening again, we must remember. After going to the United States National Holocaust Memorial Museum, we went to dinner at We the Pizza. Welcome to dinner number 3 on this decent trip. It is at this place called We the Pizza. We just came back from the Holocaust Museum, as you should know. I'm hoping to get some nice good pizza. Then my pager lit up and made a bunch of sound, and then I went to get my pizza at the counter. It was a good pizza. Highly recommend this place. After dinner, we went to the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. The statue is seemingly slightly unfinished, symbolizing the status of his work as never complete. Civil rights is a field that never gets fully completed. Now, to get to this statue, you need to go through a mountain of sorts, an artificial mountain. You go through a canyon, and on either side of that canyon is a water feature, followed by some wall with quotes on it. On the other side, there's just a wall with quotes on it. A lot of his quotes from different speeches that he did. At this point in time, he is the only non-president that has a statue in the National Mall. After going to the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, we went to the Franklin Delano Roosevelt Memorial, aka FDR. Unknowing to most of the public, FDR had contracted polio at a young age and was confined to a wheelchair for much of his life. The public saw him standing, but it was actually quite painful for him. The memorial was made up of 4 open-air rooms. The first indicating his first term, the second room indicating his second term. This room really focused on his actions against the Great Depression. The water feature located in this room has steps, somewhat indicating the complexities of the Great Depression. Water features are very symbolic in the FDR Memorial. In room 1, the water feature was very direct. In room 3, the water feature was very, very rocky and jaggedy, symbolizing the brokenness of the Second World War, since he was president during that time. The entirety of the third room is all about World War II and just how bad it was. On the wall, it says the famous words of FDR, "I hate war." In room 4, it showed a reflective water feature, reflecting on the funeral procession down Pennsylvania Avenue as he died during his final term. The water feature here is the largest and very rocky. During this final term, the Second World War ended and the UN was formed. This is the only memorial that has a statue of the First Lady. The entire memorial is wheelchair accessible due to FDR's disability. Next, we went to the Thomas Jefferson Memorial. Welcome to the Thomas Jefferson Memorial. I haven't actually entered it yet, so you're gonna be with me as I climb this incredible set of stairs. If you've noticed a pattern, important guys who get big memorials get a lot of stairs up to the memorial. The Thomas Jefferson Memorial actually has a rather scandalous story about it. Now, Franklin D. Roosevelt had this memorial constructed due to the influence that this man had on his life, and he wanted a direct view with this memorial. So it was built in line with the White House, which is right over there. Now you see, there is a very seemingly purposeful line that runs all the way from the memorial to the White House, and Apparently, the Washington, D.C. citizens did not want their trees to be cut down so then the president could have a better view of a pet project. So, what the president did was he sent out the Secret Service with chainsaws and cut this overnight. This is a speculation story, of course. I'm not sure for certain that this is true, but now this area is maintained by the National Park Service, probably in recognition of that. That's the Washington Monument. Looks great. And I'm reviewing it from the Thomas Jefferson Memorial. Not too many steps. And we're up here. And that is Thomas Jefferson. On the walls lay some of his quotes. After the Thomas Jefferson Memorial, we went back to the hotel, where I slept. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please come back for episode 4, and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.